In the cut.
Hey,
What
up, everybody?
What's going on, my bro?
Just do what it is.
Yes.
What we got? What's today? It's Wednesday. It's winning Wednesday. Let's go. This is episode 7, man. We at episode 7. I need to apologize. Well, I need to apologize. I did a little hiatus, but you know the way that coronavirus set up. Yeah, the way that was set up, man. We back to work and everything. So been good, man. How's everything on your MP?
Amazing, bro. Can't complain, man. Thank God.
You look like you fresh out the shop, my man.
Yeah, my brother hooked me up.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, that's a real nice shirt you got there. Shout out to Queen's Finest.
All right.
Shout out to Queen's Finest in the building. But so for episode 7, I wanted to, me personally, I was excited when I thought of inviting this individual. And it's funny, man. That's why I love what I do and everything about like my life is like everything is so on purpose. Everything is so by design that like everything that I've been searching for and looking for, like the world just became my library, and everything that I was trying to learn, everything that I was trying to find the answers to, like God just kept putting the answers in front of me. And it became like a library. And I say that to say this, man. The relationship I have with this individual, I met him from barbering, just like I met from a lot of individuals that I know, obviously from cutting hair. And I met this guy, man. He real cool dude, real servant leader. When I met him, for sure, a dude that also was just a good guy to be around, real stand-up individual. But I met him cutting his hair, and he was into financial. He was in the financial advising industry, which my ears perked up, because obviously anything that has to do with money and how to grow it is that's what I'm looking. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Hell yeah, we should all do that. Understand?
Yeah, man. So, hey, what's up, Aramis? Shout out to my man Aramis joining in on us. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? But yeah, so I started cutting his hair. We became real good friends. I found out that this individual was a drummer. not only was he a drummer, like he invited me to one of his shows, and when I came to the show, I was like, wait a minute, this is like music. You know, I'm used to hearing we used to hearing this stuff on the radio. This was live music. This guy's a professional drummer. Like, you need to look up this dude, like, or figure out how to get him to play for y'all someday, because he's a beast with it. Yeah, man. And so just a real good guy, talented individual. And definitely he's someone that you want on your team, not only as a financial advisor, but just as a good friend overall, man. A person you want on your team. And you know, with that being said, actually one of the main things that I want to point out to is as well, is that he's a pastor of a church. I'm not gonna take away too much of his story. But without further ado, let me introduce to you our special guest of the night, Pastor Charles.
What's happening? How's it going? How's it going?
Can't complain, man. Amazing.
It's good to be here.
Welcome to the call. Welcome to the In the Cut podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah, I feel like I told you when I was coming up with this podcast, I was like, yo, I'm gonna get you on here one day. I feel like
you definitely did.
Well, you're here.
We are here, man.
So but yeah, man. So, you know, real quick, just, you know, before we, you know, ask questions, you know, because we titled this, personally, I titled this episode 7 of In Cut called Pay Yourself First. And I think that's only fitting because, you know, people that are on here, again, entrepreneurs, people that are hustlers, people that are about their money, and they, you know, they want to know what to do with their money now, right? It's 2020. Are we saving or are we investing? Right. You know, so stuff like that. But, you know, before we ask about the money, get into that, the financial advising conversation, because I know there's people that have questions. Anybody that has a question throughout this whole podcast, feel free to jump in the conversation in the comments. But, you know, Charles, you know, let everybody know who you are, you know, your background, and yeah, take it away.
Yeah, man. So, yep, like John said, my name is Charles. I am a pastor, but I don't always kind of throw that title around. So most people just know me as Charles. I've been working in the finance industry since I was about 20, maybe 19, 20. You know, I did everything from being a teller, banker, financial advisor. Now I'm in equity compensation, which is a little more in the weeds, but been in finance for a long time. Been in ministry my whole life. Just recently became a pastor last year, November of last year. You know, and I love what I do on all fronts. I was a professional drummer. Still play drums when I can, but I don't do it professional anymore, going on the tours and all of that anymore. But love music, and one thing I've always just tried to do is do the things that I love. And you know, ministry, music, and money. Those are some of my highlights. So I've been doing a lot of that, you know, for the majority of my life. But other than that, man, I'm a pretty simple dude, man. Just taking it every day and making the best of the day.
So,
yeah, man. And when he says you're professional, but like, I'm cutting this guy's hair before he goes on tour, and he was telling me you play in front of thousands of people. I was like, the people that you were telling me that you were opening up for, I was just like, man.
No pressure.
Yeah, it's you know, it was crazy. It was a crazy experience. One that I do not regret, but it was so much fun.
Real quick, who's one?
You was a rock star, bro.
Something like that.
Who are one of your favorite people to open up for, or you know be in concert with?
Man, you know, honestly, one of my favorite moments, which is kind of how it all went down. But we did this jazz festival in Spain. Jazz festival is 3-day festival, and we were playing there. And one night, one of the headliners was Macy Gray, which I know a lot of our younger people may not know who Macy Gray is, but you know, she was headlining the show one night, and you know, we went out, we performed, we went back in the green room, and this guy comes into our green room. He's like, Macy Gray wants to talk to you guys. I'm like, what? What do you mean she wants to talk to us? And she comes in, she's like, you know, you guys are so amazing. She's like, yo, it would be my honor and my privilege if you guys would just jump on the stage and play a couple of songs with me. And that was the most ridiculous experience of my life. You know, just playing and having so much fun with Macy Gray on stage was crazy. So I would have to say that's probably one of my favorite people that I got to play with.
Fire, that's pretty dope. Cool. So You know, I know we got a few people that's already on here. If you are on here live, let us know in the comments. Let us know where you tuning in from. If you're watching this replay, type in replay in the chat. I read every comment, I promise you, and it means the world. So, you know, again, you know, we on here literally to bring value. You know, again, this is a lot of people, thousands of people that can hear this moving on in the future. You know, they're on here because, you know, they want to know what to do with their money. You know,
Yeah.
how to move with it. You know, different principles. So, you know, many people don't even know what a financial advisor is. Like growing up, like I didn't know what a financial advisor was, you know. So it was
Yeah.
a foreign word to me, and you know, so I just want to give some clarity first and foremost, just to let you know everyone that's on here watching, you know, who is a financial advisor, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I find that financial advisor is actually a term that's like used interchangeably with a lot of different professionals. And what that means is like, you know, when someone says a financial advisor, you could have an investment advisor, who's someone who's just really kind of advising on your investments, you know, your market investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, stuff like that. You also have financial planners, right? So these are people who are not necessarily facilitating the things that you're doing with your investing, but kind of just looking at your life holistically and kind of creating a plan for you to follow. So you have to kind of do all the implementation, but they're going to kind of walk you through the plan and give you some guidance, give you some steps. You know, you got insurance agents who's going to help you with all your insurance stuff. So, you know, sometimes financial advisor can be used interchangeably for a lot of these different professionals. My recommendation always to people is you want to find someone who's going to look at your life holistically. If you're going to a professional for advice, you know, you want to make sure that they're keeping you in mind, right? So even if you get an investment advisor, just understand that they may not always make investment recommendations based on everything else that's going on in your life. They don't know you have a kid that may be going to college. They may not know all of these other things. So you make sure when you're looking for a financial advisor, you're looking for someone who's going to look at your life holistically, who can kind of give you advice holistically.
I like that. I like that. And speaking on, you know, like what type of advice, you know, again, speaking on holistic terms, right? So, you know, when I think of, you know, being a financial advisor or having one, it's like, where would one even find one? Like, you know, how do you even get to one of these people, right? Like,
Well, we don't talk about financial advisors.
Yeah, you know, I mean, with technology now, dude, you can just Google search financial advisors. A lot of banks have, you know, wealth management lines of business as well. So, you know, companies like Chase, they have JP Morgan, and, you know, I think Bank of America had Merrill Lynch for some time, right? Then you got your big wirehouse firms, Morgan Stanley, TD Ameritrade, but then you got everything now to like, you know, Robinhood and Acorn. So a lot of different avenues for you to find investment advice, professionals. You got guys that have their own, you know, family practices, maybe run their own office and stuff like that. So you can Google financial advisors, but I think, like I said, one of the most important things is, you know, when you find one, make sure that person is, you know, can gel with you. You know what I mean? Sometimes we go into these offices and we meet with people, and just because they know stuff doesn't mean that they know you. Mm-hmm. Right? Take your time, right? You don't gotta have the first guy that talks to you, because a lot of times, like, you know, people may not know a lot. When they talk to someone who knows more than them, it's just like, oh, this guy's got he's got the goods, he's got what I need. But take your time, you know, feel out a few different financial advisors, see how you gel with them, be able to talk to them and feel like you can talk to them real, right? Because the one mistake you can do with a financial advisor is go in that office and tell them what you think they want to hear, right? You know, you're telling them, oh yeah, I got this together, I got this, I got that. And they're going to give you a bunch of recommendations based on what you're telling them. But if you can't be real with them, you're not going to get good recommendations. You're not going to get thrown off. You're going to get thrown off, man. They're going to advise you from a place that's not a reality. So take your time, try a couple people out. You know, you can always do the personal references. You know, if you know somebody that has one and they trust that person, it's always worth, you know, sitting down with that person and feeling them out, seeing if they work well with you too.
You know, and it's so funny that you brought that up. Like, I was thinking about this too the day, and you know, and I just want to say this, right? I guess you can look at it as a disclaimer, right? But you know, anybody that's on here right now listening to this, or if you're in market, looking for a financial advisor, listen, if that person, if that person, if their money philosophies don't match yours, it's okay to respectfully part ways right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
I encourage it.
yeah.
It's like you need a second opinion from a doctor. You understand?
Exactly. Exactly the same, man. Exactly the same. Yeah.
That's all there is. But I mean, why do people don't look for financial advisors though? Like, I wish I knew about financial advisors in the beginning, like a lot early.
Well, I think a lot of people don't think they need a financial advisor. A lot of people look at their situation and, they may work like a 9 to 5 and, sometimes they may feel like they're just making ends meet and different things like that. So they may not feel like they need an advisor, or they might think advisors, the only thing that they're interested in is getting their money. So that's why it's important. Again, when you do get a financial advisor, know what you're getting. You're not going to know everything, right? But I believe in not going to a person blindly, right? Because if you go to a person blindly, they could tell you anything. If you don't know it, you're going to believe them, right? So it's always good to do some research even on your own. Listen, the internet has all types of information, man. So you can learn general terms. You can learn about financial advisor fee structures. Like you can look all of these different things up so that when you do finally get into a conversation with an advisor or get into a conversation with someone, you have some idea what you're getting into. But again, I think people don't look because they just don't think they need one. And not out of arrogance, but it's just like, yo, what could a financial advisor really do for me? I don't have anything, and I think the number one benefit that you're going to get from a financial advisor is planning, right? That's like my number one philosophy, my number one discipline, my number one everything when it comes to finances and people's finances is don't try to do this without a plan.
So here we go, right? We have a question by Lizette, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's
more of a statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like, put it like this, like, back to like, how do you even find one? It's like, how do you know when you need one? Right? How do you know when you need one? And I just got my first, it's like, I'm making good money. I'm making, I don't know, $1,000 every $1,000 a week. Do I get a financial advisor now? I I know a lot of people on here getting this stimulus money or this government money. They figure out what's up. What do I do? What do I do with this $400, $300?
Right?
Yeah. It's a personal thing. I think that, I think any stage in life is a good time to at least speak to a financial advisor. The good thing is you're going to be leaning on that person's experience. You're going to be leaning on what this person does every day. So if this person is trustworthy, right, this person is going to tell you straight up, which I've told many clients, you don't need me right now. Like, based on what we talked about, this is what I think you should do in terms of what I can facilitate, right? So that's what a real advisor is going to tell you. Like an advisor is not going to tell you to take your $1,200 from stimulus money and put it in the stock if he knows you don't got no money saved. Like that's not a real, you understand what I mean? Like that's not a real advisor, right? That doesn't make any sense.
And if you do, that's when you start running the other way.
Exactly, right? Things got to make sense, and we have to make sure that, when it comes to money, because it's easy, you log into Instagram, Facebook, man, you got people posting all types of stuff that they're doing and how they made this money and how they did that. You have to look at your own situation and be like, yo, am I even ready for that? Sometimes you we were kind of talking, off camera, but you try to get the end result before walking through the process, and that's how you get stuck.
The process.
So I think any stage of life is a good time to seek out a financial advisor. I know a lot of firms that have financial advisors. That conversation, any conversation you have with a professional, most times is free. So it's not even really going to hurt you.
Nope.
So you just got to be willing to take that. If you feel like you're at a place in your life where you got money, or even if you don't really have money, but you just don't know what direction to go, right? You don't know, like, what should I get into next? That's a good time to lean on a professional. Like, you know what I mean? Or that's a good time to lean on someone you trust that's going to help kind of give you some guidance.
Word. And so it's like, I look at it, I also was wondering this, like, how does the relationship work? Like, am I hiring a financial advisor, or am I like, how does that work? Are you just going to keep in touch with me like every so often?
Like,
yeah. every 3 months or something like.
It depends on the person. You know, it really does. It depends on the person, right? You know, and I know some of these answers might sound vague to people, but it's actually more important than you think, right? Because some people will avoid seeing a financial advisor because they think, oh, now I got to see him every week, or now he's going to be calling me all the time, or now he's going to ask me to do all these things that I'm not really ready for, whether it's mentally or financially, right? But the relationship is whatever you make of it. Like Pedro, you were talking about having a doctor and getting a second opinion, right? You know, when you get a doctor, some people see their doctors once a year, depending on the situation. Some people, because they have a pre-existing condition or something like that, they may need to see their doctor once a month. It really just depends on, you know, your relationship with that advisor, and of course, what the fee structure is, right? So, you know, if you find yourself in a relationship with an advisor who charges you per appointment, then that may not be the advisor that you need at this point in time.
That moment, yeah. You got to switch it up. Like, there's always levels to it, you know, depending on
right
how much we're talking about, buddy.
Exactly. You know,
next one.
Right. So if you're in the beginning stages of your journey, you know, maybe you just need someone to point you in the right direction for, you know, good savings accounts or different type of plans or things to get into, right? But if you're a little bit more established and, like, you know, maybe you have real estate or you run a business, you know, maybe you need someone who's going to give you more hands-on advice. Maybe that's someone you do need to talk to once a month, right? It really depends on where you are.
That's the truth. Because I had an incident like 2 years ago with my accountant. I had to switch it up.
Yeah.
They had to switch it up because she missed one thing, bro, and they just threw everything off.
Yeah. And you are hiring that person, honestly. You know, you are hiring that person at the end of the day. So,
God, you know, I'll bump into someone else that really know what she's doing. She's amazing.
That's good.
Amazing. Needed that. She put it back to normal, like, you know, to par. Amazing.
Yeah. So too bad for her because she lost a good client. So, or whoever that was, I'm just saying. So, you know, P, you got anything on your mind that you wanna get? Because I got a few questions lined up. You know, anybody else in the comments, feel free. You know, if you're thinking about getting a financial advisor or a question you may want to,
like,
you know,
what should we do? Like, say today, right? I'm pretty sure. Are you like pre-COVID and after COVID, right? It's two different times now, right?
Sure, yeah.
Are you, like, as far as like people, like your clients today, are you giving them the same advice you're giving them before COVID today?
Man, I know sometimes these answers, they just sound so vague, right? But
it is what it is, bro.
Some clients, you know, do need to kind of just stick where they are, you know, ride it out, right? And some clients do need to make changes depending on where they are in their life. You know, if you got someone, you know, like, let's say, for instance, pre-COVID and, you know, everything that was happening with the market, you know, if someone was like near retirement, you know, or nearing a big life event, you know, it may have been my recommendation for them to take money off the table. But if I got someone who's in their 20s, you know what I mean, who's supposed to be putting this money away, again, right? When you start making choices with your money, your finances, your resources, everything has to be like purpose driven, right? So you can't be putting your money in places because of a certain type of account or a certain type of stock or a certain type of this product, right? Everything needs to be purposeful. So it's like if you're putting money in the market, there has to be a purpose for that, right? So it's like a lot of people, their purpose is, well, I want to grow my wealth over time. Well, in that case, then we don't necessarily need to make any changes right now because you're not taking this money out next month, right? The people who made out the best, you know, the people who made out the best in 2008 weren't the people who sold, right? They weren't the people even who just stayed put. Honestly, the people who made out the best were the people who put more money into the market at that time. We all know that now because we're looking back, right? But at the end of the day, it was all about the purpose. Did they have the capacity to stay invested? You know, that's like one example, you know?
That's why it crashed.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, I mean, you better. But do you? I mean, I guess you answer that because depending on the situation, you said, right? Depending on the situation.
This is what I would ask you because this is what I would ask I think it's a great question for anybody that's looking for advice on money, period. Right?
Yeah.
You know, what are your philosophies on money? You know, what are your philosophies on money regarding, you know, anything? Like, are you the risk it for the biscuit guy? Are you the guy that's, you understand you got to invest it, you know, you got to put money to make money? You know, simple, like, what are some of your philosophies on money? Because obviously, if this person's money philosophies don't match mine, then again, it's okay to part ways with this person or just not take that advice.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, me personally, and again, as an advisor, what I would, I always try to take the philosophy, like, who I'm dealing with, right? That's the person that I want to recommend based on that person's experience, that person's life at this point in time, right? Sometimes they line up with what I may be doing personally, right? And sometimes they don't, right? Depending on where they are in their life. Me personally, because I'm a younger, individual, I know that this is my time in life where I need to be making the most out of the money that I have, right? Everything needs to be creating more money. It needs to be multiplying. So yes, that involves investing, right? Are there things that come before that? Absolutely, right? You want to have safety nets, you know what I mean? You want to have some savings, you want to have some cash on the side, right? And you want to know a little bit about what you're getting into. But let's be honest, right? Like, just a prime example, a lot of people, may have their safety net, but they keep putting money in savings because they're like, listen, the market's crazy. I'm not going to make no money. It's going down. And it's like, but look at it this way. If inflation is well over a percent, 1.5%, 1.7%, and your savings account is paying 0.3, you're not actually saving anything, right? Because your purchasing power is going down every year that it sits there. So, once you got your safety net, if you're in this accumulation phase of your life, you need to make sure that your money is at work, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in the market investments, whether it's in business, right? It's got to be creating, because do people get rich just from saving? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, like, you definitely need something that's going to help you bridge that gap, get you more return than what interest and inflation is kind of taken away from.
Because your money, I mean, it's like saying your money in the bank is no good.
Yeah, it's, in the purpose of accumulating wealth, it's no good, right? You understand what I mean? And the purpose of having a safety net is perfect. So look at the flip side of this, right? I've had clients who are like, yo, I'm saving for a house. It's like, yo, what stock should I put it in? I'm like, well, when are you trying to buy a house? Oh, and like next year. It's like, then I'm not going to tell you to invest it.
Exactly.
Because what if you lose it?
See you later, buddy.
It's all about purpose. If you told me it wasn't money that you were saving for a house and you just wanted to see it grow, then I would tell you to put it in the market, right? Because you don't need it in a year. You don't need it next year, right? It's all about purpose, man. Everything has to make sense.
Answer my question, man. When play with stock, I play money.
Yeah, you just gotta and that's why I say, don't try to do this without a plan. Even if you don't have a plan from an advisor, make a plan for yourself. Like, where do you want to see yourself? Where do you want to see your money? How do you want to live? And build from that.
Vision.
Absolutely.
Man, let's talk about this. So I thought this was a good question, because I speak to a lot of people on a regular basis. Again, I have a business mindset, and there's a lot of people that I speak to on a regular basis that are dying for opportunities, that are dying for growth, that are literally just looking for some sort of change financially in their lives. And these people are at a point where they have, it's like check to check. We know the percentages of people that are living check to check in America, or just worldwide, period. But it's like, if we grew up saying, with the term, it takes money to make money, right? Scared money don't make no money. But if a person is already living check to check, right? What is your philosophy? What is your say to them on risk if they are already living check to check, but there's opportunities to invest, with whatever they got? Like, for example, people that are getting, like I said, these unemployment checks or these stimulus checks, they getting extra money that they probably never even seen before. And it's like, all right, cool. Well, I can continue to do what I've been doing, or I can invest this money somewhere, maybe in a stock, maybe in a side business, maybe somewhere, what
well, I mean, I would tell that person, first and foremost, if you need that money to pay your bills now, pay your bills. Like, you understand what I mean? Like, don't take your money that you need to survive and live off of, right? That's a standard, right? You got to set a standard in your life. Like, your bills have to be paid first. I know a lot of people make it risking it all? Absolutely. Like, but that's not an everyday thing. It's not an everyday thing, you know, and
it's not for everyone. That move.
It's really not for everyone. It really isn't, you know. So what I always tell people, like, because I've had clients, right, who maybe live in check to check, right, and they don't have a lot of disposable income, right. They don't really have the resources to put it into a stock or have that capacity, like you said, the risk capacity to put it in something that's risky, right. So I tell them focus on the things they can control, right. The two things you can control if you don't have disposable income is your expenses and your income. You can start by cutting the expenses you don't need, right? Watching your lifestyle, maintaining your lifestyle. People make more money, they just increase their lifestyle right away, rather than reinvesting and putting that money. Like, you wasn't getting that money yesterday, so don't act like act like you still don't have it, right? If you were living and you had a certain standard of living, like, I know people want to live good lives and lavish lives, right? But there's a way to get to that is sustainable, right? So if you're at a place, right, where you don't necessarily have the disposable income to be put in the market or put in real estate, focus on your income and expenses, right? And that tends to be our younger crowd, right? So, you know, sometimes you have nothing but time. So pick up a part-time job or, you know, cut out those different, you know, expenses that you had that you don't need. You know, I don't, like me right now, I don't have cable TV. Why? Because I don't watch cable TV.
You don't watch TV?
Like, I don't have a house phone. Why? Because I don't use a house phone. So all I have is an internet package. You know, people got cable and stuff in their house and they don't even watch it. You know, I remember I had Verizon, I had all their channels. I had their super HD platinum program, whatever thing they had, right, with all the channels. And I called them one time because I was asking them something else. And I asked them, I was like, yo, how many channels do I really watch? Because, you know, they could tell you that.
Oh, wow.
The average, you know how many channels I watched on average?
Probably one.
Five channels, and I was paying for thousands of channels. Like, it just doesn't make sense, you know. And you know, you got to always look at the bigger picture, right? Am I talking about the coffee you have every morning? That's probably not going to make a significant change, like, unless you was like me buying Starbucks every day, right? That's $2,500 a year if you was drinking what I was drinking every day, right? But if you drinking $1 coffee from 7-Eleven, all right, $365 a year, it ain't crazy, right? So that's not something to lose sleep over, right? But some of those bigger bills, like you driving a car you can't afford, right? Like, you know, consider these things. You know, are you taking the Long Island Railroad every single day when you really could just be taking the bus or the train? Those kind of things you have to look into, because they make an impact in your life. People don't realize what $100 and $200 extra a month could really do.
Hell yeah!
Like, it could, you know, it could really do some damage in your overall, like, financial future.
He can save you later on. It's not even funny.
I'm telling you, even
like
$150, $100, you know,
extra ammo, bro.
I tell people, create a savings plan, right? Something you're not gonna miss, even if it's $25. Put in an account you can't see, right? There's a lot of online banks, right, that don't have branches. Put in an account you can't see. Yeah, go for it.
The online bank, bro, right? We looked that up, and
okay.
They don't have a branch, right? You know, they don't have a storefront. So
right.
You know, like, do you recommend those? Obviously, you recommend right now, like.
Yeah, absolutely. They tend to pay more in interest.
You gotta let me know which one, though. You gotta let me know which one. You know I mean?
Listen, man. When it comes to savings account, man, you just want to look for the one that got the best rate, right? Like, one that I like, you know, is American Express has one.
You know?
Yeah, American Express has one. Right, they have a personal savings. I think they're paying about 1% right now, which is actually really good in comparison to what everybody's paying right now. And it's fully online, which is why they can pay the 1%, right? So it's fully online. Yeah, it's fully online. You set up an automatic. You can make it come directly out of your check, right? You go to your HR department or have, you know, whatever it is. Make sure it comes directly out. Something you're not gonna miss, and just let that happen automatically. Yo, at the end of it, like, $25, $50 a check, you'd be surprised what that can do at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. You know what I mean? Instead of you scrambling, you start doing Christmas shopping, all this. So now when you get your tax refund, it's really just replacing the money you spent on Christmas because you didn't save all year out.
It recycles.
You know?
I mean, that's a smart way of doing it. You know what I mean? Like, recycle like nothing happened.
Small steps, man. Small steps lead to big gains. They lead to big gains.
I like that. So
we want it now. All right, Charles. We want it now. All right.
That's the truth, man. What was that guy? The guy who did the Netflix special. I think his name is Ronnie Chang or something like that. He was saying, like, in America, everything is right now. Like Amazon Now, Amazon Prime. Give it to me right now. Give it to me,
bro.
Yeah, give it to me before I think about it. That's the society we live in right now.
Yeah, you know? They want it now. You know,
there are processes to things if you want to do it right and you want it to be sustainable.
Easy. No wonder why they wonder why they lose easy, right? They lose everything easily. Yeah. Keep doing what's easy.
Man, one of the funny, we talk about life, money philosophies and principles. I was just the type of dude that I was just always brought up, if you can't buy it twice, don't buy it.
That's
you know what I'm saying? You can't buy it. You can't pay for two of them, don't buy one of them, you know?
Yeah. It's listen, man, it's a hard, I get it. It's a hard mindset to have. Like, it really is, especially like I said, with everything being shoved in our face all the time. You're on Instagram, everybody's on vacation. It's like, how all these people on vacation in COVID? I have no idea, but they still posting it. They still posting these highlights, and that gets to you. You don't realize it, but you're digesting that all the time. That's why your circle is also really important. You know what I mean? Like, the platform that you guys have, you're around people all the time who's talking about making the right moves and making, doing the right thing rather than just trying to live it up all the time. You can live it up all the time when it's sustainable, but don't try to be living it up now and you can't sustain it, because you're going to fall off anyway.
I agree with that. So, big question.
Some people got to afford.
Save or invest in 2020?
Man, I did a little bit of both, but we went in. I went.
Wait. I think the question got a little broken up. What was the question?
So for the average person right now, that's maybe they still working from home, maybe they collect unemployment, maybe they got back to their full-time hours. Are you saying save for 2020, or are you saving invest in 2020?
If a person has the capacity, I would say invest. If a person is, the bills are being paid, they're not struggling. If they pop the tire, they can replace it without getting their heat turned off, then invest it.
But when you say capacity, right? When you say capacity, like, what would you consider a capacity?
Like I said, if your bills are not in jeopardy of being cut off, and your bills are not, and your normal living is not in jeopardy of being cut off, and you have some sort of safety cushion if you lost your job tomorrow, right? And you still find yourself with some excess capital, then go ahead and invest it. You should go ahead and take that chance. And that doesn't mean I ain't telling people go put your money in Bitcoin, right? Put it in something you understand. Like, put it in something you understand.
Of course.
If you understand Apple,
do you recommend, like, investing on what do you recommend? Investing on real estate or stocks?
What's the ideal? What's the ideal investment for someone that has an extra,
Exactly. Give them a number.
I look at it like this. They say the average person. I don't want to get too like these. I'm just going by average, right?
No, I hear you.
I don't know. I'm thinking it's 25.
Average. Let's just say average person that's making, the average income in America, right? Maybe they bring in, a little less than $5,000 a month. That's I think that's actually
a lot less than that. I just say a lot less than that. There's a lot.
I mean, let's just say you brought bills, but your net income was maybe, after bills and everything, maybe you got like, I don't know, $1,200-$1,500, to mess around with, the average person after, that I'm talking about their net income. They paid their bills.
Right.
What's an ideal
savings and everything? I mean, real estate tends to have a larger capital kind of requirement to kind of get into it. I know there's other ways you can get in real estate without money, but without getting into all the details, right? Real estate tends to have a larger capital requirement, right? So market investing is a good place to get. Maybe they can find a couple of mutual funds that they like, right? Mutual funds tend to be lower price per share, right? So you may not be able to buy Apple directly, but you can buy a tech ETF, you know what I mean? Or a large cap growth fund, something like that, right? And that's going to give you some exposure to the market, and you put it in, you do it systematically, and you let it grow over time. I know when people get into it in the beginning, now you're watching it every day. Oh, it went up a cent. Oh, it went down a cent. Oh, it went up $1. Oh, it went down $1, right? Market investing is definitely a long-term strategy. Are there some day traders who make money really quickly and Forex traders who make money really quickly? Absolutely. But I learned after being in this business, risk and reward are trade-offs. There is no, it doesn't grow, it doesn't go in the same manner. Less risk, more reward. Like it's always a trade-off. The more risk you have, the more potential reward. You know, so for someone who's just getting into it, maybe you want to look at something that's a little bit on the less risky side, you know, because someone, truth be told, without getting into statistics and everything, someone who just put their money in like an S&P index fund, which is the vanilla market exposure, and just did it systematically over the last 10, 15 years, would probably have more money than someone who was trying to day trade every day.
Of course. It'll pile up.
You know, you get what I'm saying? So,
you're talking about the guaranteed fund when they have it all.
Well, nothing. Once you get in market investing, nothing is guaranteed. I don't care how safe it is. Like nothing is guaranteed, right? But the market has done really, really well over the last, 12, 15 years. Let's just put it that way, right? So that time span has proved to be really beneficial for someone who just put it in the S&P, right? The S&P is an index, right? So you're talking about your 500 largest companies in America, right? Just an index. No, I didn't pick this company specific or anything like that, right? I just put it in the broader market, and you just follow what the market did, right? For the last 10, 15 years. That's less stressful, not even something you really got to look at every day, right? Versus someone who's trying to day trade. You know, if you're working a 9 to 5, it could be pretty difficult to also be day trading and also looking at this, right? So do what's appropriate for you, and be patient. Like, trust the process.
Yeah.
Right. People think, oh, I got a financial advisor, I'm getting rich tomorrow. Like,
you know how many clients, like, I love it, man. I had so many clients just come to my desk and just say, and I always ask them the same question. The first question I always ask is, what are you looking for? Right? Oh, I want to make money. Okay. All right. I understand that. So do everybody does. We all want to make money, right? But what are you looking for? Oh, I want to make money. Okay. Well, how much risk do you want to take? I don't want to take any. I can't help you. I can't help you. It doesn't really exist. You understand what I mean? Like in market investing, it doesn't really exist. There are products that are less risky, right? But the potential reward is less. That does not mean that you don't make money. I think that's what people forget. Like if they don't think that if their market investments are not going up 200% every day, they don't think they're making money. But if you look at Apple over the time span it's been around, thousands of percent. Like if people just waited and held their money, it's all about trusting the process.
Long term, that's what that is, right?
So actually, I just thought about this, right? So like, let's just say I am a client of yours. Is there like a standard set of questions that financial advisors ask, or maybe just you? Like, what would you be asking me? Like, I know one of the questions says, "What are you looking for?"
Yeah.
So cool. I'm looking. Yeah. What would you?
I get into the life questions. Every advisors can be relatively different, right? They all have their ways of doing things, man. I get into the life. Like I tell people, my job as your advisor is I'm going to get a seat at your dinner table. And all that means is like when you're sitting at the dinner table, you're talking about everything that's going on in your life, not just your money, right? But you're talking about your kids growing up and going to school. You're talking about this one getting married, talking about this parent might be retiring soon and now they need something to do, or you might have a sick parent that needs taken care of, right? Those are the things that I need to know because that's going to help me understand what kind of risk you can take. And I'm going to learn more about you as an investor, right? If you're someone who's not really into the market and someone who doesn't like to see big swings, I'm not going to talk to you about international investing. Why? Because there tends to be a lot of big swings with that. So until we get to that place where you're comfortable, I'll probably lay off of that, but I need to know who you are as a person. I need to know what your life is like. I need to know who you are as an investor. And it's my job to educate you as well.
I like that. Honestly, those questions are questions that I'd be asking myself without, like
exactly.
I feel like you should be asking yourself these questions on a regular basis.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
I like that.
And that's why I said don't try to do this without a plan. It ain't you don't need a financial advisor to give you a plan, right? They're an advisor. They take what you give them and build on top of that. But if you give them nothing, they have nothing to work with.
Is it because we really have to be honest, bro? Like to the T?
Yes.
That's why. Is that? That's probably one reason why people don't talk to advisors, bro. Because I don't want to hear your shit, bro.
Listen, man. Think about the first time you went to the doctor, and your doctor they get to that question: are you sexually active? And you're looking at your mom, like it's that same feeling. Like you have that same feeling when you go to see an advisor. But your advisor is going to ask you, okay, what's your disposable income look like? Are you check to check? Nobody really wants to be like, yeah,
What?
I'm check to check.
What the hell are you? Right?
Nah, I'm spending more money than I make. Right? That's a very real reality that some people don't even realize. Some people don't even realize they are actually spending more money than they make.
I agree, bro. I agree with that 1,000%. I started doing my own, like, I guess my own finances, like doing my whole accounting, seeing how much I make, gross, and all that stuff. And it just changed the game for me, man. It changed
budgeting, man.
Once you're aware, you gotta be aware. Once you're aware, it's game.
Yeah, because now it's real.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Do you have any books that you recommend on money management or financial, anything that off the top of your head?
Oh man. I mean, this might sound like a cop out, but one of my favorite books that I actually read when I was really young was Rich Dad Poor Dad. And that's just because it's a mentality type thing. You know, you can look up different ways to budget, you know, but at the end of the day, those are all going to be very specific to you. You got to find the thing that works for you. But the books that talk about mindset, you know what I mean? Those are really good because they'll expose you to things you might have never thought about.
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad, the classic book, man. Definitely.
Yeah, man.
I haven't read that book.
As far as how about this one? As far as like money, right? Paper money.
Yeah.
They'll be worth a lot in the near future, like, you know, in the future, maybe 10, 20, 15 years. Because I'm hearing, hey, they're not gonna be worth anything in 10, 20 years from now. You gotta have gold, you gotta have silver, you gotta have copper, you gotta have all these things. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Should I buy a bar of gold? Right?
Yeah. Well, listen, man. I'm not
cash in my house.
I'm not an economist, man. My understanding is that we stopped printing money based on gold a long time ago. You know, we're a sovereign currency. What we say it is what it is at this point. You know, but you know, should you buy a bar of gold? Should you keep cash in? I mean, keeping cash in your house. If things really hit the fan like that, what is cash going to do for you anyway?
Exactly, right?
You know, or gold for that matter. Like, you know, people, you know, I think like when COVID first started, I had a couple of clients, you know, asking me like, or what am I going to do? Like, if the whole world goes down and the economy collapses, like, well, that gold and cash you have in your house is not going to mean anything because people going to be trying to eat. You know, they're going to be trying to live and be healthy. So taking a wild stab in the dark, preparing for something that far in the future or some type of scenario where there's so many variables, probably really shouldn't be a priority for most people.
Word. Yeah. I mean, I forgot where, I don't know. I was looking at an interview sometime earlier today, and they were talking about sites, because I was looking about investing into gold bars and stuff like that too, just because, like you said, it's like, if the world really going down, what is this green piece of paper in your wallet really gonna do?
Exactly.
You know, but I think gold is just, you know, anything that's like a mineral, gold, silver, all this stuff, like, you know, that's something that you can't duplicate. So I think, me personally, I was looking into it just out of curiosity.
Listen, and you could be right. Truth be told, you could be 100% right. I mean, there are definitely, and this is just me personally, there's a lot more things in my face right now that take priority. You know, if I'm focusing on building the wealth and establishing myself now, I don't think I'll have a problem getting gold in the future. You know,
coming. But that makes sense though. Depending on where you at, depending on what your goals are, depending on where you're trying to go, that's exactly how you're gonna set up your priorities, right?
Right. It's all about, you know, priorities, because I don't want
levels. Maybe you're not up to the goal part yet, right? Or, you know, certain people not up to that. You know, I get it.
Yeah, you know what it is, because I don't want people who are like living check to check, who don't have savings, to think they need to go buy gold right now.
They probably have an emergency fund.
Yeah, it'll be based on something that we don't really know when or if it's gonna happen. You know, if you got the resources, go for it. I mean, gold is a great resource to have, you know, and it's traded on the market as well, but it is something great to have too, you know. But you know, priorities, man. You just gotta know where you are in life at this point. Like, is gold your top priority right now?
I say that because priorities, but when COVID hit, How many people didn't have priorities right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
That's what I'm saying. So what advice do we what advice do we give those people that didn't get it right that time? Like, what advice do I give you now? Like, hey, pay attention. But this was your
if you're
situation.
still here, all right, and we were talking about this off camera. If you're still here, that means you have a chance to learn.
Yes.
The best thing you can do right now, and the best thing at any point in your life, is to learn. Learn what you're going through. Like, learn, figure out things, ask questions. Like we were talking about, have a network, have a group of people, that talk like this, that talk about changing their situation for the better. If you're trying to change your life, but everyone you hang around with is just happy and content with living the way that they live, and they don't care about progressing or doing anything better in their life, it's going to be difficult.
No, you're right. I agree. You got to surround yourself with the same mindset.
Yeah.
If not, we'd be talking about crap.
Yeah.
I get it. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. So gold. I got to put gold somewhere in the middle. Damn.
Yeah. Listen, go for it, man. I have a friend who buys a lot of silver. He buys silver bars, and he keeps it in his safe deposit box.
Oh, maybe silver is but it's worth too, man.
I'm like, go for it.
Yeah.
It's just,
now, again, depending on your priorities.
That's a personal thing. Like, if I have a client, now it's different if a client is asking me, like, should I invest in gold? Again, I'm looking at their entire picture.
Everything.
Do you have do you have the capacity? Can we get you gold exposure? Then let's do it. Even when people asking me about Bitcoin, like I didn't know much about Bitcoin when it first started, and people asked me, should they invest? Why? They weren't asking me because they actually cared about Bitcoin. They were asking me because they saw all the money that people were making off of it.
Yeah, I saw that. It was
and my question was, well, if you bought Bitcoin today and it was zero, how would you feel? I'd be mad. Then don't do it.
Yeah. That's simple.
Find something that works for you. There are ways, like everything you see that's in your face isn't the only way to create wealth.
You know that.
That's the only way. Sometimes people, sometimes society will make us feel that way. You're not creating wealth if you don't own 20 multifamily properties. Well, for some people, they don't need 20 multifamily properties.
Some people just, like it says, suffice where they at.
Yeah,
and
you gotta make it personal
to them, I guess, right? And you gotta understand, you just gotta let them be, right?
Yeah,
man. All right, cool. Well, I would say this, P, do you have anything specific that you wanted to ask too while we was here?
Oh, I mean, I was just asking as we go. I mean, he was answering everything. It's pretty much the same. I mean, I'm pretty sure people in general should have similar questions, right? I mean, like in the beginning, like how do you know when to start investing, right? Like like where do we start? Right? Like where do you tell people to start? What I mean, like, if I'm searching for something, what do I search for?
Yeah, you can look
people like who does, like I have no idea. Boom, I have a little bit of money in my hand.
Yeah.
Like, what am I searching for, bro? Do I go see you?
Yeah, you can.
Right?
You can do your own research. A lot of my market, knowledge really came from a lot of stuff I was looking up on my own before I even got in the industry. Actually, part of me getting into this industry is because I was so fascinated by what I was reading. Because again, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad at a very young age. So I knew the principle behind the matter, right? Like I knew I needed more than just a job. So my own curiosity had me looking in market investing, right? Jive, we talked a lot about real estate. My own curiosity brought me to these topics. And I asked questions and I surrounded myself with people who talk like this all the time so that I can get some level of understanding. Mm-hmm. So, when I tell, like for beginners getting into the market, I tend to tell people to kind of look for stuff that they understand, until they can get more advanced understanding of certain things. But look for things you understand, and look up terms. There's a website called Investopedia. It's literally like a dictionary for investing terminology. You can learn what a stock is, you can learn what a bond is, you can learn what a mutual fund is, and a lot of stuff you can do on your own in the beginning if you don't feel like you're ready for an advisor.
Oh, one more, right? Is it safe to like
say it again?
Is it Investopedia.com?
Yeah.
Investopedia, yeah. I don't even know how to spell it. There you go.
Everybody. Is it how you spell it? Investopedia?
Yeah, that looks good.
Google it. If I'm off a letter, Don't worry, you'll be close.
It's close.
Yeah,
But
it'll come up.
as far as another question, as far as people that like that do have a job, that do have their 401k pension or whatever the case is, is it smart for them to leave their money in there, or should they take it out and?
Yeah, I mean, 401ks are really beneficial, right? Because there's a lot of tax advantages to that, right? So if you got a traditional 401k, right, and you put $1 in it, that whole dollar gets invested. If you take $1 and put it into a traditional brokerage account that's not a 401k, it's really like 75 cents, because when you file your taxes, you'll have to pay the tax on that. So when you take those two numbers and you consider the compounding effect that happens over time, it'll blow your mind. The difference over 20 and 25 years, the actual value difference that you'll have just for that 25 cents. So a 401k is very beneficial. Again, this is all part of a plan, right? So you got your 401k that's handling your retirement. Now, if you're maxing that out, right? So let's say right now, I think the IRS limit is $19,000 a year into a 401k, right? If you're not maxing that out, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, right? This is just general, right? So don't take anything I'm saying right now as,
people having a hard time living on one check. You want to take out another percentage, that's just how it works.
Right. So, I think that a 401k is extremely beneficial for someone, if they can afford to contribute. I think that is like the first line. To me, that's a priority for people as they're getting to setting up, because you can use that 401k later on for other things. Right. So think about it this way, right? You got someone who is saving in a savings account to buy a house, right? But not contributing to their 401k. The savings account is not invested. So you're getting whatever the interest rate is, which is right now garbage, right?
Yeah.
So if you compare the two, right? So let's just say you're doing a savings account, I'm doing a 401k, because in a couple of years, I can take money out of my 401k and buy a house with it.
Or go on vacation like some people do, right?
Well, I wouldn't recommend going on vacation.
Of course not. I'm just saying that's what people do. You know what I mean? Like that's how it works.
But you can use that money to purchase a house. If we put the same amount of money, if I put the same amount of money in my 401k that you put in your savings, I can almost, I don't want to say guarantee, but I have a much better chance of having more money in that account by the time me and you go to buy a house than you will just because you left it in the savings account.
Of course, that's a fact.
Right. So those are little things that you want to know that's a part of your plan, right? Like if I, and this is a whole nother conversation, but if I ever walk you guys through the plan that I have as far as creating wealth in my life, you'd be like, yo, I didn't even know that you can set things up that way, like and really position yourself. But that came from me knowing what I wanted and how I wanted to live, and finding the different avenues that were going to work for me.
But what about the ones who don't have the 401ks? What about the ones who don't have those pensions? What about the ones who are just working, I collect my paycheck every week. What do I do with it?
You can open an IRA, essentially the same thing, right? It doesn't have the same contribution limits, but it's essentially the same thing. You can start there, right? So there are ways, and there are in most in our life, there's usually something that we can be doing. Right, like there's always something that we can do, and that's how I feel. Like there's always.
I want you to explain that. Like what's going on right now. I want you to explain that to somebody that has no type of knowledge, who has no idea. Like here we go.
Yeah, if you have
now what?
If you have no financial knowledge at all, right? I can tell you the best thing that you did was come here tonight. Like that was already a step in the right direction, right? Nice. Because it's showing not just the people around you, but you're showing yourself like, I want to get this understanding, right? I want to learn more. And that's where it really stems from. You're going to hear, if you've been listening, you're hearing a lot of different terms. I hope you're taking notes, right? Look, all those terms you don't understand, any concepts you heard about that you don't understand, look them up. Look them up, Google them, YouTube them. You can find a video on YouTube about everything. I could fly a spaceship if I wanted to from videos on YouTube, So you can look up all types of stuff. That's the benefit we have of technology. We just don't think about it. As much technology as we have, how often do we use it in productive ways? We could spend hours on
it's a distraction, bro.
Right? We can spend hours on Instagram, but we can't spend 10 minutes on Investopedia just looking at what a stock is.
Or read a book.
It's priorities. Like if this is what you want to know, like you want financial knowledge, there you go. You got Investopedia. They got all types of different ways that you can learn about stuff. Some of them are set up in like groups. So like, you know, what is market investing? Like that, it'll be like 6 different pages that you can read, right? You can look up books, like you said, you know, and see the different topics that you're interested in. You want to learn about real estate? Biggerpockets.com. I love that site, right? Talks about real estate investing, all of the different ways that you can get into real estate, buying liens, all these different things. Let me tell you, the information is out there. You know, the information is out there. You just want to get there. So, you know, whoever's asking, I have no financial knowledge. Like coming here, I can tell you just in the conversation we had, we put out so much information already. So many different concepts.
Well, at the end, you gotta be searching for it.
You gotta look.
Yeah, I can't.
You gotta look.
You're
Yeah,
not
you
gonna
gotta
find
look.
anything if you're not searching for it.
First of all, you don't want someone to just tell you what to do either, right? Because if they just tell you what to do, something goes wrong, the first thing you'll do is blame that person. And you're not gonna know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because you didn't take the time to learn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I deal with my clients, not only am I recommending or advising different things that they can do, but I'm teaching them along the way. So they know, right? A lot of my clients, even when COVID happened, you know, most of them didn't even call me. Why? Because we had already had conversations before that, knowing what their time horizon was, knowing what their purpose was. So they didn't freak out, you know, but they wouldn't know that if I didn't take the time to educate them, if they didn't take the time to know. So now when they see their account, they see a dip or they see things in the news, right? They can rest assured and say, like, you know, sometimes people will say, oh, you know, they'll hear something about oil. Oh, oil did this and this, and you know, the red starts going across the screen and everyone starts talking about recession. And 9 times out of 10, that doesn't directly affect half the people that's panicking.
Not at all.
I had to tell a client, like, you have no exposure in this particular industry at all. You know,
you can breathe, but you can breathe.
You can breathe, right? And I mean, and that's not to, like, you know, that's not to downplay the importance of these different things that happen, right? It's not to downplay it at all, right? But it's just, again, having that understanding and knowing, you know, what you're getting yourself into.
Who's some mentors or just people that you listen to and gather your philosophies about money and financial, you know, in that field? Who's some people that you listen to?
Wow. Oh man, this might sound crazy, but now where I'm at now, you know, I spent my early years like looking at people like Robert Kiyosaki, Warren Buffett, you know, a lot of people that most people look up to, Dave Ramsey, different things like that. But now I get a lot of my information and a lot of the things that kind of get me intrigued from people, talking to people. You know, I can have a conversation. Let's just say, for instance, I can have a conversation with you while you're cutting my hair, and you might tell me some of the business dealings you're doing in Florida. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So what's going on down there? Oh, yeah, this, and that. I'm getting information now. Like, I'm getting information. I have something to go home and be like, well, let me look at some stuff in Florida. You know what I mean? Or you could talk to me about what worked for you. Oh, okay. You know what? Let me look at that. Again, your network is so important. Because if you're talking about people, like, people are doing things. I have a very close advisor friend of mine. I was talking to him yesterday. He's like, dude, yo, I just closed on this deal in Georgia. Really? Tell me about that.
Let me check that out, buddy.
You know, tell me about that.
Let me get a piece of that block.
From that conversation, now he's like, yo, I'm looking into this deal that I want to set up for next year. Let me know if you want to be in on it. So now I've cemented this, you know, this thing that kind of came from nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. So, and it's funny you mentioned Dave Ramsey. I've been watching a lot of Dave Ramsey. He's a gangster. He's a gangster for real. He's a gangster.
He made me feel bad twice.
No chaser, man. He's straight no chaser.
Yeah. But that helped a lot. Yeah, I think you had to talk to me like that. You have to talk to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not, I wouldn't take you. Like, I probably wouldn't take it more seriously than I did. Like, it's
look up Dave Ramsey if y'all don't know who Dave Ramsey is.
Takeover, bro. That book changed everything.
But yeah, Robert Kiyosaki. I definitely listen to a lot of Robert Kiyosaki. Warren Buffett, of course.
I know people check out Grant Cardone is another one that I know a lot of people check out with the 10X movement and everything. You know, you got to find, like, you know, I love Grant Cardone. And one of the things, I'll say this, just kind of backtrack. One thing that I learned from Robert Kiyosaki that's really helpful, and that I think would be really helpful for people, is the whole concept behind Rich Dad and Poor Dad was that he didn't take one person's advice. He found what worked for him in each person and brought that to his life.
Took it like a champ.
Exactly. So I think that would work for more people than just, you know, Dave Ramsey, all right, let me just do everything he says, like, and then that's it, right? It's like, now you got to find the things that, you know, I've taken some stuff from Dave Ramsey, I've taken some stuff from Grant Cardone, I've taken some stuff from Warren Buffett, I've taken some stuff from Robert Kiyosaki, like, and you build what works for you.
Because it's moments too. Like you can be reading something at that moment, but you're not in that situation.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's good to know, because you never know if you get into that situation, then you're ready to go, bro. You stay ready.
Right. Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Kathy,
that's a good question. That's a good question.
Having multiple bank accounts.
Because we have.
I mean, for what purpose?
So my wife don't gotta charge my money.
I mean, listen, I'm a financial advisor, not a therapist and a counselor, so I can't I can't speak to that. But I mean, I guess I would probably need some more clarity on that question. Like, do you recommend having multiple bank accounts? I mean, if it's for a thing of like, well, you need multiple bank accounts to say like, this is my vacation money and this is my saving money and this is my investing money.
Basic,
if it
right?
works for you, and it doesn't cost you more to do it, go for it. Go for it. You know, I know some people, you know, they used to, when they get their paycheck, they take the whole paycheck out in cash and they make little envelopes. All right, this is for Verizon, this is for this is for that, this is for that. Like, whatever works for you.
Yeah. That's the old school way of.
That is the old way. That is the old school way.
Yeah. What? Listen, whatever works. Like I said, if it's not gonna cost you more to have multiple bank accounts, or it's not gonna add confusion to your life because now you got bank accounts all over the place and you don't know where your money is, you know, I say go for it.
I personally have multiple bank accounts. But I think of it like how you said it. It's like, this is the envelope for this envelope for this. So I have, you know,
mine's different. I pay with this one. I collect with this one.
Yeah.
So
like I said, it's a system that works for you. You know, if it works for you, go for it. I would always tell people, like, if you don't have a budget, make one. Like you need to see where your money is going. You need to know where your money is going. You have to know your money, like, you know, like the back of your hand. Like, especially when money is tight.
What did they say? If you don't look at it, then how do you know how much you're spending, bro?
Yeah. And
you
know, people, you'd be surprised, man. And it doesn't matter how much money you make. You know, I've had
you can run out
surgeons and making tons of money, and still not having any money left over after their check is gone. You know, after the month is over.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of them.
So yeah, if you can manage the oversight of having multiple bank accounts, and you just kind of know where everything is, and that it works for you, go for it.
That's probably the only purpose we'll do it for, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to think of anything else.
This is just something that I was just curious about, because I personally, I think that you two guys are very, you know, again, you want to be around people that are winning and have the same philosophies as you. And I believe that you two, you know, have the same, you are in the same boat that I'm on, you know, when it comes down to money. I have a principle, you know, I have a few principles with money that are pretty, like, I feel like they've saved my life financially. One of them is a pretty common one that I forgot what book I got it from. I'm pretty sure it might have been like an Earl Nightingale book or something like that. Or basically they say, and matter of fact, no, this is in the Bible. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
In the Bible, buddy.
Right? There's a bunch of financial stuff in the Bible that people sleeping on right now.
Oh man, don't even get me started.
Yeah, I do want to touch on that though. I do want to touch on that. One of them is 10% of all you make is yours to keep. Right? And I that's something that I've gotten you know, from different books and even in the Bible. You know, I just can't get the exact quote, but I know for a fact it's like, listen, you making $100, cool. At least $10 from there, 10% of that is going to the savings account. That's like a principle that I have. For me personally, it's 20%, right? That goes into savings. You know, yeah, that's just me. But you know, I want to ask each one of you, like, what's a money principle that you guys have?
Bro, I've been throwing everything in there lately. So lately, I've been saying to myself, "I'm broke, baby."
Oh yeah. Well, listen,
Right?
living like
So, bro, I mean, I haven't been really like I've been just taking chunks, bro, and just it is what it is. Like if I don't eat, I don't eat. I don't really
Mm.
care. You understand me? Like not that
Well,
I
listen,
can't, not that I can't eat.
you make the necessary sacrifice. You're looking
Yeah, if
long
I don't
term.
eat,
Nothing wrong
bro,
with
it's okay. If I don't eat, it's okay, man.
yeah,
I'm all right. I'm suffice with that. If I don't buy this pair of shoes, shirt, whatever, I don't really care right now, man.
yeah.
I'm not getting excited about things I used to be excited about, like cars and all that crap. I don't really care about that right now, man. I'm all about the future right now. I'm all about, like you said, priorities, right? I'm all about
sir.
building wealth. I'm all about just building. I mean, I got 2 kids. I gotta get this done.
Absolutely.
Right? I gotta leave them something. It's just like in the Bible, right? That's stuck in my head, right?
An inheritance, yeah.
A man should leave an inheritance to his kids' kids.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
right there, man. I don't know. You know, whatever it is, man.
I'm big on that too. I'm
That's
very
what
big on that.
I'm on that
big on
journey right
creating a
now.
legacy.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm on that
big
journey.
on creating a legacy. You know, I think that, you know, I already said like one of my biggest money principles is to have a plan. Like, you know, I already mentioned that, but to throw out another one, you know, is like understanding debt. Like, you know, debt is
I don't even like that word.
vicious. It's a vicious cycle, man, that plagues so many people. Because it helps people fulfill short-term desires, but creates lasting agony and pain. And people don't realize the cost to borrow is crazy.
Mm.
You know,
What was that?
people,
Dan, Dave Ramsey, right? He goes, when he was trying to explain like how you should get your first car, he goes, if you borrow, right? He made a plan where you can actually get your first car cash or whatever, your second car. But anyways, then he tells you like once you're in debt, they own you, bro.
Think about it this way.
They own you, man.
Like, you know, people who are trying to make moves, right? And they're like, all right, I got to start saving, or all right, I'm going to start investing. And it's like, but you have $10,000 in credit card debt.
Yeah.
Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, you know, I find out their situation because again, I ask questions about the life. I find out what's going on, you know what, and so I'm like, you know, I find out they got credit card debt. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't tell a lot of people. I can make you 25% guarantee right now. They're like, how? Like, how can I do that? I'm like, pay off your credit card.
That's it. But that process,
you just saved yourself 25%. Because think about it. What is the point of saving and investing if you don't make 25%? Like you're not even making enough to pay the interest on the money you borrow.
like you said,
You would have to make more than 25% to even be able to actually be taking home anything.
Yo, bro, after that book, bro, I stopped using my credit card. Understand me?
And listen, don't get me wrong. There are 2 sides to debt, right? Debt is supposed to be leveraged. There's a good way to use debt, right?
Yeah, of course.
Most people don't reach the good way before getting through all the bad stuff first.
Yeah, but it's got to be big thinking, bro. You know what I mean?
Right, you know?
Because now, like, I'm waiting for my bank to give me like a 50 and up limit, like as much as they can. That's what I want. You know, so I can just walk into anything I want and be like, that one.
Yeah, it's like bad debt, using a credit card to buy stuff you don't need and that's not going to make you money. Good debt, taking out a mortgage, that's a 4%, but let's say it's an investment property and you can make 10% on the investment. That's good debt, right? So debt just has to be used in the right way.
Got it.
Right? Because debt can give you the leverage to kind of get over that next hump, right? You know, because there are not many people out here saving money to buy houses cash. You know what I mean? People not throwing down 300, 400,000. I mean, if you can get there, that'll be good. You know what I mean? But in the beginning, you can use that leverage to kind of help you get these investment properties. You know, I've heard people use things where it's like the first property they buy outside of renting, they'll buy a multifamily. They'll live in one and rent out the other. So that'll lower their housing expense. And then they save all that extra money instead of using it to inflate their lifestyle. Whatever money they're saving, they use that to reinvest. Like when you're getting started, you should be trying to reinvest as much as possible. If you made $1,000 on something, don't go take that and buy a bag or something like that. You know what I mean? Take that money and reinvest it.
Got you. Cool. Honestly, man, one of the hardest things that was said today on this podcast, tonight on this podcast, was make sure your money working for you. Make sure your money working for you. And on that's something that I will take away with this, from this podcast, is just make sure your money working for you. Because it ain't doing much just sitting in your savings account. I'll tell you that much.
Put it in the right place. Put it in the right place, man.
So, I'll leave some room for any more questions, anything, to drop in the comments. But personally, before we wrap this up, or, go towards that route, to wrap it up, what is something that you want to leave out there for someone, just anything, with your experience, with your, you've been dropping gems the whole night, but for someone who's a rookie, someone who's not even, someone who's in debt, that's like, damn, I can't even go to a financial advisor because I don't even have money to invest. I'm in debt or whatever. Someone who's in the worst of the worst situation, I guess you could say. What is you want to leave these people with? Some advice from someone who's as credible as you are.
I would tell them that your life is your life, right? I know sometimes we want to be a certain place, but we have to go through the process. If you're looking, if you watch tonight and you heard us say make a budget, make a budget, and you make a budget and you realize, I'm really spending more money than I'm making, then your first course of action is to fix that. Take action to make your life better. That's the best thing. You have the power over that. You may not have the power to buy a house tomorrow or start a business tomorrow, invest tomorrow, but you have the power to make your life better now. Take action on anything that you can control right now and watch the snowball effect. Don't, we were talking about the Bible, that, don't despise small beginnings, right? Every small step that you take is a step to a better future. And don't be afraid to take that step. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Do whatever it takes to make your life a better life.
There you have it. There you have. Oh, P, hold on, you muted. Say that. Run that back. Oh, hold on. Your mic is muted, bro.
He said, "Don't be afraid to ask for help."
It's real.
I think that's the number one key, bro. Most people just don't ask for help. Like, you need help, but you don't ask for help. That's crazy. You're drowning, bro. You don't know you're getting fat, right? Like, you're getting fat, bro. Come on, you know what I mean? Like, don't forget that. That's how much it traumatized me. You understand me?
Yeah.
Like, I started saving more because of that book, bro. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
And nothing feels better than when you take those actions and like you can finally look in your account and see you got $1,000.
And you know what's funny? I'm
like 10,000. That's a good feeling.
What they don't understand is when you ask for help and you actually get that help, that points you to the next person that's gonna help you out, and then to the next person, then the next person, until you get to where you gotta go, bro. It's crazy. That's how life works. So just don't be afraid to ask for help, man. Get your ego out the way and just keep going.
To my people who might be in like the not best situation, right? Maybe in debt or whatever the case might be. Take it from my own experience. When you finally make the decision to do better for yourself and you take the necessary actions, even if they're not glamorous, like Pedro said, even if it means you're not eating out every night, you know what I mean? You can't go out every night and you got to eat at home and eat sandwiches that you make at home, When you start making those decisions and start making those choices, the feeling that you get from winning those battles, I promise you, it's going to keep pushing you in the right direction.
It's the best. It's like one right after the other.
It's going to push you in the right direction. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel like you can do something with your life. It's going to show you that you have power, and you're going to want to keep doing that.
And there's something else out there. There's something else out there that's bigger than us, because, bro, certain things I'm like, what? How did that happen?
Yeah.
That's the weird part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God always gives you the little nudge. He makes the way a little easier.
Like, he gives you a wink. Like, yo, I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was me.
Definitely. And the good thing is, Pedro, when he gives you that wink or he gives you that little extra or he makes that way, you're now in a place where you could truly appreciate it and actually make good of it. You know what I mean? Rather than always being saved, right?
Exactly.
So, sometimes in your life, you're just always being saved, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't pay this bill, but money came out of nowhere. But you move from just being saved all the time to now getting all these extra things that's just going to help push you forward. Now you can use them to push you forward rather than to just save you all the time.
That's a fact. That was a good way to put it.
That's the goal. You come from the background of being saved to the background of being a provider.
Yeah. Now we get to pay forward. Now we get to pay forward, bro.
Yeah.
The best part is paying it forward. It's weird. It's weird. It's the
Pay
best
yourself
thing now.
first. Pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first and then pay forward.
Listen, and pay yourself not just in money, pay yourself in knowledge, pay yourself in experience, pay yourself in confidence, pay yourself in self-esteem. You know, when you start making the right moves, that's how you pay yourself. You pay yourself now you're not living check to check anymore. Now you're not in debt. Now you can afford to buy a house. Now your credit is better. Those are other ways. That's how you're paying yourself as well.
By setting yourself up.
Yep.
Setting yourself up for the next step.
So this is just out of curiosity. If people are looking to get out of debt, people are looking to, you know, I guess, you know, let's just say, is that like a another episode type question? Like, yo, how do I get out of debt? You know, what should I do? Or what do I do to get my credit score up? Is that another episode type question?
Definitely.
Or is that
the I'm broke baby episode, bro?
That's the I'm broke baby episode, right? Like
Baby.
you know, there's a lot that goes to that. But I'll tell you this.
Listen, you don't gotta answer it now. You don't gotta answer it.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. There are a lot of methods. There are a lot of tools. There are a lot of ways you can go about doing this. But I'm gonna tell you this. You won't do it until you made it up in your mind. Like, that's number one. Like, made it up in your mind to take action. Like, that is number one. I can give you all the plans. We can do a debt chart. We can do a rolling snowball debt chart. We can do all those things. You know, Dave Ramsey has tons of them. He'll tell you many ways to get out of debt. None of them mean nothing if you will not put the action behind the knowledge.
Applied knowledge, right? Apply the knowledge.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I you know, we can definitely go into the weeds and tell people how to do it. You know, I'm always going to tell people, like, you know, you do want to put something aside. You know, you always want to be saving just to kind of create a cushion, but all your extra dollars before they go to investing needs to go to cutting out any unnecessary debt, high interest debt. That's like number one. And as you tackle them, the money that you were making, like making the payments on, you start knocking out credit cards, take that money, again, reinvest it. You know, you pay off one credit card. It's like, oh, now I save myself $50, $100 a month, and I can go get that car one. It's like, no, you got more debt. Like,
yeah, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going.
Keep pushing.
Right.
You just did a quarter. You gotta.
It's safe to say that I personally would love to have you on here and go in depth with other conversations about this, because I'm sure we can go on and on about it, man.
Oh, of course.
I definitely believe that we will have a part two.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
So, well, listen, man, I appreciate you guys for jumping on here as always. Charlie, man, always a pleasure. You know, with any last words, P, anything?
Nah, man, this was amazing, bro. I'm just happy that we on this. Like, I learned a lot today as well tonight, and I hope that whoever's listening to this,
I think it was a very elementary to, like, you know, just to understand what it's all about, you know, because again, that was my angle. When I first
it's like a beginner's move.
Yeah, I just need to know, like,
hey, this is where you start, right?
Now, once you learn this stuff, maybe my hope is maybe you were more on top of your game with money after this. Maybe you go find a financial advisor, and just be more aware. And then from there, that's when we go to part two. Now you know the right questions to ask. Now you have the right mindset. Now you have all the the things in place that we can have an actual conversation about what's really going down with our finances. So, but yeah,
on a future episode, I'll walk us through the plan that I have in terms of creating wealth. Like, I'll tell you, like, all the ins and outs and how I position things and how to do things, so you can just see how creative you can be and how specific and how it could be like your own thing. I'll share mine because, you know, it was something no financial advisor told it to me. It was just something that I pieced together based on everything that I've seen and stuff that I just wanted out of my own life. And I'll share that just so people can understand why, first of all, it's important to make a plan and what the benefit of making that plan will really do for their life.
I mean, you know what they said, if you don't know where you going, bro?
Yeah.
Well, listen,
you don't have a destination. Where we really going, bro?
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
You just doesn't. You gotta know where you're going. You gotta know the end.
Well, that's that. So now we booked for part 2 of this because we definitely want to hear that, man. So
I wanna hear that. I wanna, you know,
so 7 in
that's
the
Mary.
all right, fellas. Well, listen, everybody that tuned in, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is it, cut episode 7, baby.
Yes, man. Night was dope. I love it.
Thanks for having me.